And welcome back to the SAGU Sports Network. We are ready for the second half as we are just about 30 seconds away between the OPSU Aggies and the SAGU Lions, where the Lions find themselves down a touchdown 21-14 as OPSU will get set to come out on offense. As we were saying, heading into halftime, Tim, not a position you want to be in if you are the Lions.
No, the Lions cannot really afford to go down 2 scores in this kind of game. They've been very limited on offense of what they can do. I mean, you look at that 21-14, that looks okay until you realize you have one busted splash play, 86-yard touchdown run in there. You take that away, and this offense really did struggle. You look at the overall stats, just 232 total yards, 278 for OPSU. 181 rushing yards, exactly what they want to do. On pace for over 350 yards. Third downs, though, SAGU did a pretty good job. Converted 3 out of 8. OPSU did 3 out of 7. So 2 teams that are pretty good at third downs overall. You know, the offense is converting when they need to. Obviously, that lone turnover snuffed out the Lions' drive and snuffed out C.J. Collins' epic interceptionless run that was over 250 attempts, and it spanned nearly, well, his last interception happened in the first quarter of the Langston game. So 3 quarters there, 4 more games, nearly 2 more quarters. So almost a full 5-game span when you add up all the quarters.
We just had to talk about it, didn't we? I think we jinxed him.
You know, you always know that when you're watching a game and they throw up a stat, so-and-so is 108 for 108 from field goals, you know it's coming. Hasn't thrown an interception since whatever date, yet you know you just jinxed them. It didn't happen until the end of the half, though, and it was a more of a desperation Hail Mary type of throw anyway, so I'm not going to take too much blame.
TH to come on to kick off to OPSU here to open up the second half.
Short kick and
short kick, fair catch brought in. They're going to have the ball just past the 25-yard line.
So now Martez Vrana will step into the game. He did a very good job leading this offense in the first half. Really dominant on the option, picking up a touchdown on his legs, had the one deep ball for a touchdown pass. Running back is going to be Danny Valverde. Ransburg seemed to have some problems with his leg. Dylan Cullum left after he really got shaken up. He did step in before the end of the first half, though, but Valverde has kind of been the workhorse in this one with those guys missing time.
You got to think they're going to keep feeding it to him because he's had a very successful game so far, and the first carry is going to be taken by Vrana up ahead for about 5 yards, maybe 4 yards, bring up 2nd and 6.
That read option is working for them every single time.
They are getting it. I mean, if it's going to get you 4 or 5 yards a carry, stick with it. That's going to net you a lot of time of possession. It's going to move the chains.
And wear this defense down. It's a warmer day. Just wear this defense down.
Vrana rolls out to his left. Escapes the tackle. Shelby has a shot at him. He can't get there, and he's going to run. Vrana ducks out of bounds for the first down, and that's got to be a little deflating if you're the Lions. You had 2 shots at him, and it just kind of slips out, and you can't bring him down.
Yeah, the initial man comes in. That's Sean Minshew, unable to get him, and Sean Minshew is going to be down hurt after that play. Derek Shelby unable to make the tackle, and Vrana, like we've said all game, he's shown patience and elusiveness, and that's a dangerous combo for a quarterback when they're patient enough to wait for things to happen and elusive enough to break those tackles. And so he starts the half with a designed run and then a scramble run to pick up a first down. Minshew is needing help to get off the field after whiffing on that sack.
To put no weight really on that leg that he's favoring. Ooh.
So first down up to the 38-yard line as OPSU is trying to break this back and forth scoring battle, go up by 2 scores.
Vrana takes a snap, hands it off to Valverde. Valverde is met at the line. He's going to be dropped for no gain. A good job that time by the Lions to stop the first down run. They have struggled today on first down carries.
Belcher was the one who got through initially, got a hand on the running back and forced him to cut up inside too quickly. And there was just a gang of Lions waiting to finish off the tackle there. It's going to throw him for about, it looks like a little bit of a half of a yard loss, bring up 2nd and 10 plus.
Vrana, 2 men in the backfield, sends one in motion. He's going to get it out to him. And he barely hangs on to it, but he's going to drag a defender for a couple extra yards. Going to bring up 3rd and short here.
Moving at full speed, kind of had to corral the ball around his helmet. Looked like it was a pass, not a lateral, but good job of moving forward. Typically when you're moving forward like that, that's when you see a drop, and he almost dropped it. Did a good job of keeping it just high enough to hold on to it. Pick up 9 to bring up a 3rd and 1.
Vrana, 3rd and short. Going to hand it off, and he is going to crawl his way for a first down. That was Dylan Cullum back into the game. It is good to see him back out there after the apparent maybe head injury that he had earlier. And he's going to pick up a new set of downs.
Got blasted by Christian Cross, but he's come in now and picked up 2 first downs, one towards the end of the half, and 1 here to move them back into SAGU territory.
Vrana gets him to jump off sides. He's going to dump it out quick. It's a free play. He's going to dive ahead for a gain of about 5. You got to imagine they will decline or accept this penalty rather to make it 1st and 5 rather than 2nd and about 6.
Offside, defense, number 45, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And there you hear it. Accepted the penalty, makes it 1st and 5 now for the Aggies.
And when you're just a chunk at a time offense, picking up 4 or 5 yards, that's perfect. I mean, that's exactly where you want to be. If every first down was a 1st and 5 for the Aggies, I'm not sure you'd ever get them off the field.
Here is the running back's going to take it off the left side. It's strung out well by the Lions defense for minimal gain. We'll call it a gain of 1, making it 2nd and 4.
It is Cullum again, who fights his way forward, just for about a yard or 2. Down to the 43-yard line, 2nd and 4. And that was a good job of finishing it off. The Lions have allowed a couple of those to keep bouncing out until the guy picks up 5 or 6 yards. Able to keep him contained and keep it manageable here.
Vrana going to keep it, fake the handoff, going deep down the field. Had a man on the corner route, but just could not connect with him. That's going to bring up 3rd and 4.
Lions got pretty lucky there because the handoff faked me out for sure. I was watching the running back the whole way, and they are lucky that it happened quickly enough. The man was open. The man, he had a step, and if that ball's laid on better, that could be in stride to the end zone. Instead, it is going to be 3rd and 4. Big stand time for the Lions, down 7, needing a stop here.
Here he is, Vrana. 2 men in the backfield. Takes the snap. He's going to keep the handoff, or keep it himself. Gets brought down, extends to try to get the 1st, but that's not going to get enough. It's going to bring up 4th and 1. And you got to think on the Lions side of the field that the Aggies are going to go for it, and it looks like there is no movement on the sideline.
Vrana has the hole here, and it's Gus Wright who wraps him up.
He's close.
He dives forward, but he's going to be, just not sure. I mean, I think the spot could probably be maybe a couple inches forward, but it is short. Lions have stopped 2 of them. They have stopped 2 4th and shorts. Can they make it a hat trick?
They are stacking the box here. Going to keep it himself. He gets stood up, but spins off the tackle and falls forward, and it looks like they're going to have enough for the first down, and they are.
Yeah, it's going to
signal to move the chains
on the stop. Yep, just too much. Lions did get penetration. Landon Jones had a hold of him, and it's just as much as pulling free and falling. If Landon Jones had found a way to hold on to him there, they might hold him up short, but they got every inch they needed and not one more there to pick up a big first down to the 39-yard line.
Fresh set of downs here for the Aggies. Vrana sends a man in motion. Takes the snap. He's going to roll out to his right. Waiting for a man. Dumps it off down low. Good move by Cullum. And he's going to get maybe 3 after the good move after the catch to bring up 2nd and we'll call it 4.
Yeah, plants his hand in the ground to help make that move. That was a great job. Lions have strung him out well. We're covering the guys deep. Had an eye on Cullum the whole way. Thought they might be able to sniff that out and just throw it for maybe a gain of 2 or 3, but instead it's a gain of 6, brings up 2nd and 4 as we hit 10 minutes to play.
Vrana, 2nd and 4. Going to hand it off to Cullum. Cullum running hard ahead, dragging defenders with him. He's going to get enough for the first down by about 1.5 yards, and that's going to move the chains. And Tim, this is turning into a long drive here for the Aggies.
Yeah, you've crossed 5 minutes. The ball is down to the 27-yard line. You're looking to go up 2 scores. This is exactly how you wanted to start this half off. If you're the Aggies, obviously you got to get points. You're not done with it. You left yet by a long ways, but at the moment, this is exactly what they drew up in the locker room to come out and shorten this game and take a bigger lead.
Vrana is going to keep it himself, sheds off a tackler, up ahead, brought down finally by Christian Cross, but that is going to be another first down, and they're going to take this possession down under 9 minutes.
Yeah, just sheds his man. The Lions have been unable to contain him in the backfield. They've had their chances, but Vrana has just been too strong and too elusive. Another big gain down to the 15-yard line, another fresh set of downs, and the Aggies offense is rolling like a machine.
Vrana going to keep it himself, go around the outside. Good move to get to the outside. Has a man to beat in Golden, but Golden is going to take him down for about a gain of 5. And Vrana's helmet falls off.
So Vrana's going to have to check out for a play because his helmet comes off, and he has been everything on this drive. So stepping into the game will be Brandon Ramon at quarterback, at least for this play because of the rule. And obviously, for the Aggies, you hate to see that because it's working so well for you. You don't even want to go one play without him. Yeah, great. Right there, he knows he's got 3 or 4 yards, but he is able to extend it out and get an extra 5, make it 5 instead of what would have been the 2 or 3 over the middle.
I wouldn't expect anything too extravagant here from Ramon. Probably just going to be a straightforward
Or maybe you dial up a pass here, totally throw the Lions off.
And they are going to run it up ahead. This time it is Valverde going to get brought down for, they're going to call him a loss of 1.
Now, obviously, Ramon will step off, and Vrana will come back in. It is going to be a loss of 1, bring up a huge 3rd and 6 here.
That could be a big break for the Lions as the helmet coming off of Vrana.
It really is, because, you know, 2nd and 5 with the way that Vrana is running this option right now, it's just too much to contend with. And obviously with Valverde having such a solid game as well, is too much to contend with. So if you can make a big stop here, you can really, really adjust what their next move is going to be. You always want to see that field goal unit out there.
Vrana back to pass. Looking in the flats, he's got his man. It's going to be close to a first down.
I think he's got it. He's right on the 5, and that's going to be enough. Vrana comes off the bench and throws a 6-yard strike.
They're going to call him just, oh no, they are going to end up moving the chains. I saw them switch it to the 4, but they switched it back to the 1. This will be 1st and goal here now from the 5. Under 7.5 left to play in this 3rd quarter.
Half the quarter is gone as this has just been a methodical, grinding drive. And if the Aggies can go up 2 scores, finish off with these last 5 yards, the Lions will have seen a quarter of the second half already gone and now needing 2 scores to rally.
Vrana hands it off to Cullum. Cullum is going to get brought down about a yard, half a yard shy of the end zone. It's going to bring up 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line. And you got to think the Aggies are content to maybe not even score on this play. Let the clock keep running.
I'm not sure they're in that much of clock kill mode yet. At the moment, you're seeing a lot of hands-on hits for the Lions defense. They have been out there a very long time, and they've been unable to come up with any stops.
2nd and goal from the 1. Vrana hands it off to the outside. He is brought down short of the end zone.
That's Landon Jones.
He's a little slow to get up here. It looks like he's going to be okay. It looked like he grabbed at that leg after this tackle, and it's a good tackle, too.
What a stop by Landon Jones. They do a good job of turning the running backs back to Jones, wrapping him up, even with the feet still pushing. Another third down. The Lions have had their shots on this drive. They get another one here. What do you think, Verona, on the option?
Verona, he's going to keep it, get into the end zone for the touchdown, and that is going to put the Aggies up 27-14, barring an extra point, and that is just a dominating drive. Over 9 minutes killed off the clock.
9 minutes and at least 3 third down conversions, as well as a fourth down conversion that they had. Just grinding. 9 minutes off the clock, up 13 points, possibly about to be 14. Verona finishing it off with his second rushing touchdown of the day. And if you're the Lions, where did this half go? The clock is not a factor yet, but if you're unable to score quickly as the extra point is up and, I thought it might have been missed there for a second. It is up and good.
Media timeout.
And so now that the Lions are down 2 scores, it'll be up to C.J. Collins to work and possibly get used to working quickly. You've got to erase a deficit. You struggled all day. You only really have 1 touchdown drive. Your other touchdown came off of 1 big run play from free. And
especially if your defense is going to give up a 9-minute drive, you have to know what they're going to be doing at this point. Especially on a drive like that, run, occasional pass to the flat. It's a run play, and mainly on the legs of the quarterback.
And it just shows how dominant they are. And
to take nothing away.
To win those battles when SAGU's defense, you have to know what's coming next. But that point is crucial. The Lions cannot afford to punt on this drive. Because if you punt, you very likely couldn't get the ball back until the start of the fourth quarter. And by then, if you're down 3 scores, I mean, this game's over. This team is built to chew the clock. And Verona has run the read option today better than most we've seen all season. He's just been it's been masterful by him today in this read option offense. I think there might have been all of 2 passes thrown on that drive. And 1 picked up the first down to the 5 on 3rd and 6. So big drive for the Lions offense as they try to stay afloat in this one, really. And more importantly, give your defense some time to breathe. Score a touchdown, but give them some time to breathe.
That is a good break if you're the Lions. That's the kind of stuff you need to go your way right now.
Kickoff out of bounds. The Lions will take over at the 35-yard line with good field position.
Need every bit of help at this point, down 2 touchdowns. 28-14 as Collins.
Kicked out of bounds, kicking team. Ball be placed at 35, first down.
They are going to take the ball on the right hash at the 35-yard line. Like you said, Collins coming out to good field position here. He's got 4 wide, and it looks like free in the backfield with him. Check that, it is Michael Bledsoe. Fakes a handoff, quick pass, Bryant Dotson has it, falls ahead for the first down. And the Lions look like they are gonna move on offense. They're gonna run a little no huddle here. Let CJ kind of take the reins here. As he looks to the sideline, gets the play quick. You see him do it with his hands. He wants the play in.
This could not be 2 more different offenses in this stadium right now.
Looking for Northey out wide on the out route, but it was thrown too far inside. Incomplete pass. Clock's going to stop. 2nd and 10.
CJ has had to be so much more precise in this game with just how good this Aggies coverage has been. Typically, that's the kind of pass that he might be able to throw a little more lazily because Northey would have a bit extra room, but he has to throw it high, has to throw it precise. Just not enough for Northey to work with.
Collins back to pass, deep drop. Looking for Blaine Rowe. Rowe cannot haul it in. That's going to bring up 3rd and 10.
And this would be a catastrophe right now. If you were to be forced to punt, especially after just around 40 seconds, that defense is still on the bench just trying to catch their breath after that last drive. If you send them back out there right now, you are just asking for trouble.
Collins waiting for the play. Michael Bledsoe in the backfield with him here. 4 wide, Blaine Rowe, Sam Northey, Jeremy Carr, Brian Dotson. Here is Collins. Back to pass, another deep drop, looking down the middle for Carr and just can't get it there. But Collins was hit as he threw.
Collins has to pick himself back up after that one. Had he been given the another half second he needs, he has a wide open Jeremy Carr over the middle.
Do you maybe want to see in that situation the Lions draw up a play that gets 6 or 7 yards and then potentially go for it?
Yeah, that's a tough thing in that situation because you have not been so good on these short plays. You want to go get it, and you had it. Again, if someone is able to just make a stand there, CJ's going to complete that.
The punt is off, and it's going to bounce at about the 23.
It bounces off a line around the 18. Could have rolled a little bit more, but the special teams breaks keep going.
Ray Lee was there to hit off his leg. And yeah, like you said, another break for the Aggies on special teams.
So that drive took all of 30 seconds for the Lions before they punt. And it feels like the defense is walking onto the field. You just look at Christian Cross right there. This defense is walking onto the field.
Media timeout.
Very slowly at the moment. As for whatever reason, we have our 6th media of the timeout of the game. We're not going to commercial, so we don't know what they're for. But the Lions defense will take it.
Hey! Referees need water breaks too, Tim.
The Lions defense will take it whatever split second they can get to catch their breath, get back in them, eat a banana, whatever you got to do to get back in this game.
It honestly, thank the officials a little bit. It gives the defense a couple more seconds to rest after a 4-play, 5-play drive if you count the punt. Essentially almost a 3-and-out because they picked up a first down on 1 play.
No, not what you want to see. And, you know, for the Lions offense, this is one of the more frustrating positions you can be in. You've been so good all year long. And see a score update there. Evangel about to finish off their win there against Missouri Valley. But for the Lions offense, this is the most frustrating you can be. You've been so dominant all year long, averaging nearly 40 points a game. Take away that first 6-point game, you are averaging over 40 a game. It's been clicking so well for you, and then you show up, and all of a sudden it's not working for you, and you don't know what Plan B is. You haven't needed a Plan B. Plan A has always worked. So trying to shift into that Plan B, all credit to this Aggies defense disrupting. Free play here.
Good news if you're the Aggies. Ransburg is back in the game, Carlos Ransburg, and that pass falls incomplete. As you did see the flags come out. Should be offsides by the Lions.
Offside, defense, number 96, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Cameron Keith gets nabbed for the offsides.
And as we said on the last drive, it feels like you just gave him a free first down. 1st and 5, you just, short of a turnover, you don't see how you're stopping them 3 times for less than 5 yards.
Vrana goes with a little bit of a hard count there.
Oh, why not? Pick up a totally free first down.
Vrana now, 1 man to his left again, Carlos Ransburg. Good to see him back in the game. He's going to hand it off to Ransburg. Ransburg up the middle, running hard, gets the first down. The ankle doesn't look like it's an issue on that run. Moving the chains for the Aggies.
Nope, and he has been the speedy one. The play that injured him initially was just a flash of lightning up the middle that got him down to around the 20-yard line in the 2nd quarter. And he is quick up the field. And if you're the Aggies, now's the time to bring in your change of pace back because you've got the Lions completely on their heels.
Going to hand it off to Ransburg again around the edge. Tries to make a man miss. Stays on his feet, picks up, we'll call it 3, making it 2nd and 7.
And, I mean, that feels like the most of a win the Lions are getting at this point, is any time that they can hold them under the 4 or 5 yard barrier. You just gotta dig down deep now. This is when you gotta dig down deep, throw a guy for a loss, make a big play, jar a ball loose. This is when you need a turnover in this kind of game.
Which again, they have not forced yet.
Haven't forced a turnover in this game. And, you know, this is when you've got to step up and make a big play because at the moment, your offense needs some help too. Your offense needs a little bit of help. This team needs a jolt in them. There's just no energy on this team or in this stadium. There's a big stop.
Ransburg again. This time he's going to gain just 1, bring it up 3rd and call it 6. 3rd and 6 now.
Belcher was in on that tackle from behind, and he's a little slow, gingerly getting up.
They might just be tired at this point. They've been on the field a long time this quarter.
That's true. And it's tough when you're Keandre Belcher, who's according to the lineup sheet 290, but that was training camp when they weigh him. We'll see where he is now. I put a scale on the field right now. I'm not sure he's 290.
3rd and 6. This could be a big stop for the Lions. He fakes the handoff, rolling out now. This has worked so far today for the Aggies. Shelby tries to bring him down by the heels, but can't. Throws a stiff arm out of bounds. He's going to be about 3 yards short of the first down. Call it 3.5, and that could be a big stop for the Lions as the punching unit is going to come on.
That was massive. Everybody just stayed at home. They all stayed on their man. Nobody over pursued. They let Shelby kind of keep forcing him out of the pocket, and everybody just stayed there and said, we're going to let you come to us. You know, Shelby's finding the first one. He's staying squared up with him, finally forces him to take a corner. Everyone's saying, we're going to stay here, not let you pull off another play. And the Lions defense does finally come up with a huge stop to get the offense the ball back, just down 14 points as we tick towards 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
Eduardo Villarreal, his punt, a good one. Northey underneath it, called for the fair catch. This time he called for the fair catch. Brought in at the 24-yard line, and that's where C.J. Collins and the Lions offense will take over after a disappointing last drive that lasted only 5 plays. And like you said, about 35 seconds off the clock.
You see right there a score update. Lakeland leading Benedictine 52-42. Benedictine is the number 8 team in the nation, so some shakeups about to happen in the top 10. Meanwhile here, C.J. Collins, Lions need a score here. Only 18 minutes left in the game. Lions need a score here.
Collins rolling out, finds Carr. Carr gets brought down. Going to pick up, call it about 9, bring up 2nd and 1.
That's how you got it. And just a little bit of a different play there. Kind of running a wheel route, rolling outside instead of just dropping CJ straight back in the pocket where he's been getting pressured. That pressure really disrupted that last drive.
OPSU brings 2 off the edge. Collins now is going to get brought down for a sack. The first of the game for this OPSU defense, and that's a big one after a good first down play. That makes it 3rd and 12 after being 2nd and 1.
Yeah, just as soon as I said it, he drops back, the pressure comes in his face, and he never really had a chance.
OPSU's been bringing that pressure all day long, and this time they bring 2 off the edge on either side, and it gets there. Those interior linemen did a really good job of collapsing that pocket.
3rd and 12, still manageable here. You picked up a 3rd and long earlier in the game, and you need it here. You need to find a way to do it here as you got 4 men down at the bottom of your screen.
We've seen this formation a couple of different times today. Got to make sure everyone's set. We don't want an illegal formation penalty. Finds Jeremy Carr. It goes through his hands, and that's been the kind of day that it's been for the Lions offense here ever since really that first quarter.
Yeah.
And they're going to come out and punt.
A little bit of an inaccurate throw by CJ. Even if he had caught it, I don't see that going for 12 yards.
3 and out here for the Lions as Gus Wright steps on to punt.
And after that play, CJ, hands on his hips, just kind of look towards the scoreboard, probably just trying to look and do the math in his head, see where they are in this game. And with less than 17 minutes to play, they need 2 scores, and they're going to rely on their defense to make another big stand, and they're going to have to do it with great field position for the Aggies. Ball's 48-yard line.
This could not be drawn up any better if you were OPSU. You said ball in SAGU territory right past midfield. They haven't shown that they could stop the run yet this half. You had that 9-minute drive to start the second half to go down and score. And you've held SAGU to a 3 and out and then a 4 and out essentially on offense. Has just really dominated the second half.
Yeah, SAGU has only run 7 offensive plays in this quarter. They've held the ball for a minute tops. And barring something here, that'll be their final stats of the third quarter with only 1:43 to play. You have to imagine OPSU will be able to run the clock at least that much.
Ransburg looking for some room, decides to turn nothing into a little bit of something, was hitting the backfield, dives forward for about 1 yard.
Yeah, and that's been the story. I mean, even when OPSU isn't putting up big plays there, that avoids getting put behind the chains. It avoids a 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13 situation. It also avoids any momentum shift. That's the kind of thing that can get you fired up on a defense when you throw a guy for a 3 or 4 yard loss. But Ransburg stays alive, sheds a couple of tackles, and just dives forward for 1 yard to keep keep the positivity going for the Aggies.
Here is Vrana, 2nd and 9. Still has Ransburg in the backfield with him. He's back to pass now. Looking across the middle, and he's got it. Just sat in the zone defense and picked up enough just to be just shy of the first down. It's going to be about 3rd and 1. And with the way OPSU has been this half, 3rd and 1 is almost a first down.
It feels like. I mean, the Lions have been able to stop them a couple of times earlier in the game, but at this point, it just feels so much, especially considering this is probably 4-down territory for OPSU. 30 seconds left in the quarter. They will have to snap. There's 14 plus on the clock, so they'll have to snap a play here.
Vrana keeps it himself. We've seen him do this a ton. Up the middle, bounces it outside. He could go all the way. Christian Cross in pursuit finally pushes him out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. It's going to be 1st and goal from the 8. As Martez Vrana again running this read option perfectly.
I mean, you would have to just go through the tape, but I do not know if there has been a circumstance in this game that the read option hasn't netted them at least 4 yards, and that's much bigger on a 3rd and 1. What will be the final play of the 3rd quarter, a 3rd quarter that we'll just go ahead and say OPSU probably held the clock for 14 of the 15 minutes. They put up a score to make it a two-possession game, and they are knocking on the door of another score, which would honestly all but put this game away at this moment with the way SAGU's offense has been unable to move the ball and with the way that OPSU has been able to dominate the clock. Again, this is the time where you just punch the ball, do whatever you got to do with the defense to change this around. As the Aggies have scored 14 unanswered, this game was knotted up at 14 apiece in the 2nd quarter, thanks to a huge run by Stephon Free. And again, you don't, obviously scores matter. Scores always matter. Yards always matter. But when you do look at it, you have to kind of excise that from the overall story of the game. That was one big play. And you think about that one big play, and the Lions only have one successful scoring drive in this game that they were able to march down the field and score. And
the majority of that drive was done on the connection between Collins and Carr. And really, since that drive, the Aggies have shut down Jeremy Carr. He hasn't had, he hasn't put up numbers necessarily after that.
Live look drive. In at Wayland Baptist leading the Texas Wesleyan University Rams by 1 at the moment in the 3rd quarter.
Looks like that game is in Wayland Baptist.
Yeah, that's out there. And obviously the Rams, they came very close to getting what would have been their first marquee win of their program's history last week here at Lumpkin Stadium. They have another chance there. Meanwhile here, SAGU's back's against the wall. A shot at a 7-3 season is on ice at the moment unless they can do something.
Vrana keeps it himself.
Ball is loose.
Ball is loose. They're going to rule him down. That was pretty close. I'd like to take a look at that.
That was pretty close. I'm pretty sure the ground caused it. Now the question is, was it loose when he was going to the ground? We'll catch here on the replays. He goes in for the read option. He's going to get hit. And yeah, that's just going to be all ground, knocking that loose. Would have been a huge break for the Lions, but it is a pickup of about 2 yards to the 6. Good job really jamming the middle and finally bringing Vrana down.
2nd and goal, Vrana. 2 men in the backfield with him. We've seen success out of this formation. One of them being Carlos Ransburg. Sends him in motion. Gonna get it out to Ransburg. He's got a lot of men out there, but he is brought down. Brings up 3rd down after the loss of, they're gonna call it loss of 1.
That almost feels like a little bit overthinking it. When everything else has been working so well, I don't know why you throw your running back into the flat there against these speedy Lions DBs and linebackers who are so good at doing that. And you have a guy running vertical too. He's not running up the field. He's running the wrong way to really adjust. When everything else has been working so well, that's when I just say, I dare you to stop the read option 3 times in a row. Now it's going to be 3rd and goal from the 7. A field goal would still put them up by 17, which would still equal the 3 scores. And yeah, it feels like the Aggies are just content to run the clock down to 1 second and call a timeout here to think up their options.
Timeout. Panhandle State, their first of the half.
Already a minute and a half gone here in the 4th quarter, and even if the Lions defense is able to make a stand here, even if they were to somehow keep them off the board, it still feels like a bit of a mountain to climb for the Lions offense. To look back here. Exciting game out there. Wayland in the blue, Wesleyan in the white. As if you're the Lions defense right now, it really does just feel like it feels like you're running in sand at this point. You're exhausted, and there's nothing more sand in front of you, and you're worn out, and you don't see the end in sight because of just how many waves of weapons they can bring. This, I was calling for look for a hot hand today. Well, Valverde kind of has been the primary back, mostly thanks to injuries, though. You can see why this team, shifts it up so much with so many different backs. And of course, I say Valverde's been the hot hand. Really, Vrana's been the hot hand.
Yep.
Vrana has been so dominant, and when he's had to throw, he has. Sometimes these read option quarterbacks, you say, oh, well, they can't really throw it well. When he's had to throw, he's made the tight throws. Might have another one coming up right here.
Here is Vrana, 3rd and goal from the 7. Back to pass. He's going to step up in the pocket. Looking to get it in the end zone. A flag does come out, and it looks like that could go against the Lions, and that would be a devastating penalty.
Yeah, it's probably going to be in the nature of a hold or pass interference. Either way, it's probably going to give the Aggies a first down, and that's what happens when you're a tired defense.
You start grabbing.
Holding. Defense, number 9.
There it is.
Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Bryce Bailey gets nabbed for the hold. And again, that is an automatic first down.
You see it right there. Yep, grabs a hold of the jersey. Yeah, anytime you let the refs see the opponent's shoulder pads, you're probably going to get called. And, yeah, that is a worn-out, tired defense on an extended play. The play was extended. Vrana was sitting back there in the pocket. He didn't have any pressure to worry about. So it'll give the Aggies a fresh set of downs at the 4-yard line.
Vrana is going to hit him on the end around. Looking for the corners, not going to get there. He's going to get brought down. They're going to call him brought down about the 2.5. They're getting a little fancy on offense there. I thought we'd see just another straight handoff, but they went with the end around, reverse action.
Now what you were saying earlier might be true. Why score this play? Go ahead and run it down to 12 minutes and go into the end zone. You said it just doesn't feel like the Lions have what it takes to stop this. And again, I'm not even saying that as though the Lions defense is weak or subpar in this situation. They're just going up against a good rushing attack that's doing exactly what we knew they would do. We both said it pregame. This is what they're going to do, and they are making it work every which way.
Vrana hands it off. He's going to stop initially, but the second surge gets him into the end zone, and that is going to put OPSU up 34-14, barring an extra point to make it 35.
Carlos Ransburg, and yeah, he's going to make initial contact and just roll right over Kobe Roach. Kobe Roach did make the initial impact, but throwing a shoulder into Ransburg, that's not going to do you much good. Not that wrapping up has helped today either for the Lions defense. And now 17.5 minutes into the second half, the Lions offense has run 7 plays, had the ball for about a minute as the score goes to 35-14, and they're now down 21 points. This has just been a maestro-level clock kill drive, clock kill formation for the Aggies. We talk about
the play of Martez Vrana today. Let's take nothing away from the big guys up front. I'm looking at a couple of the sizes here of those interior offensive linemen. You got a left guard at 310, a center at 330, and a right guard at 330. The majority of these runs have come up the middle, and you look at the defensive line for the Lions, are just undersized. Compared to those 3 guys on the interior, they're not big enough. They're just getting manhandled up front.
The Lions' defensive line is a fast defensive line. Yep. They are quick, and so when they're going up against a team that's really good at passing, they're good at getting to the quarterback quickly. They're good at dropping into coverage if need be, aiding out on passes over the middle. But when they go against an oversized offensive line, a strong quarterback, and a trio of running backs, it is just a total colossal mismatch for them, and it has developed really a slow-motion car crash today for the Lions defense.
Here is Dakota Gilly on the return. Tries to make a man miss. Gets brought down past the 25. Going back to this line play, the only one who stands a chance is really Keandre Belcher, who stands at 290. He's been banged up today. He hasn't been able to be in the game every play.
Yeah, he's been banged up a little bit, and he's been making plays. If you've called a play in the backfield, it has been Belcher. Now, that's been the case all year long, no matter who the Lions are playing. So now, well, last week, C.J. Collins led a game-winning touchdown drive on homecoming. You always ask how he's going to top something. Well, here's the recipe for topping it. You got 12 and a half minutes left. You are down 21 points. I'm not sure what 538's win percentage might say about this game right now, but oh, Bledsoe is just massacred in the backfield.
Michael Bledsoe takes the handoff, and like you said, massacred in the backfield. Has really had no chance to get anything going that play.
No. And that's the second or third time we've kind of seen that real delayed CJ holding the ball out there. That's how they got stopped on the 4th down play in the second quarter. Just kind of a real slow developing play.
Benjamin George on the big stop there for the Aggies brings up 2nd and 13. Collins now takes the snap, fakes it to Bledsoe, looking for the screen to Northey. Northey has got to try to make somebody miss. He does just enough to get the first down and about 3 yards extra. Sam Northey picks up a first down, and now the Lions offense. Well, we've seen this twice now in the second half. They pick up a first down on a long play, and then the drive stalls after that.
That is that tunnel screen, though, that the Lions have run so well this year with Sam Northey. Hasn't had anything today. That's the first time they've had any success from it. They get up to the 39-yard line. Pressure coming from the Aggies, it looks like.
Yes, they do bring pressure. Bledsoe tries to spin off it. He's going to fall backwards for about 2 yards. Brings up 2nd and 8 for the Lions.
Northey had to step out after that last play, a little bit banged up, and it feels like that might just be the byproduct of, end of the season. A lot of hard hits these guys have been taking. Lions have had a couple of guys in and out of the game. Same thing with the Aggies, though, especially with their rushing attack.
Here's Collins now, 2 out wide to his left. Quick pass to Northey. Northey's going to get brought down after a short gain. It's going to bring up about 3rd and 5 here for this Lions offense. And no matter what at this point, this is 4-down territory.
Absolutely 4-down territory, because you're not in that range of the game's over yet. You still have that puncher's chance. So you're not just punting it away to try to preserve any sort of not too much of a blowout.
The pitch play to Bledsoe, and they whistle. I don't see a flag. It's going to be a timeout from OPSU.
Timeout. Panhandle State, their 2nd of the half.
And there you heard it. Timeout from OPSU, 2nd of the half. 1 remaining for the Aggies.
And I think that is the Aggies just kind of identifying this is the chance to put the game away, officially put it away. If you can make a stop here on 3rd and presumably 4th down, you've got this game in the bag. If you give it up, there's still that brief hope lives for the Lions. So go ahead and use your timeout here. Draw up a fresh set of defenses for 3rd and 4th down, depending on the scenarios. Meanwhile, the Pioneers have gone up by 8 over the Rams of Texas Wesleyan.
Early in the 4th quarter in that one. Well, we know Texas Wesleyan, they can put up points. We know that.
They can definitely put up points in a hurry as well. And they start moving the ball there. Just need a touchdown or 2 to tie it. Back here, 3rd and 5. And it looked like the Lions were going to drop a run play. They're in run formation here.
Yeah, a little pistol going on here. Collins fakes the long handoff, and this is an interesting play. Stephon Free comes up with the completion or the reception, but it gets dropped for about 3 yards. A 3-yard loss, rather, bringing up 4th and long. Tim, that was a bizarre-looking play.
There's been too much slow development on this offense. We saw it on the 4th and 1 earlier in the game where they just had too slow developing of a draw play. Right there, that's a little too much razzle-dazzle. Just go straight up. You've got Sam Northey, you got Jeremy Carr. They can cut back, get the extra yards. A little too much going on there. And they lose the yards, and they're going to opt to punt now. They're just going to opt to punt the ball away, facing a 4th and 8. I'd probably still go for it here. They're going to call a timeout. And maybe that's looking at the chart and going, you know what, if we punt this away, either way, this game's over. if you don't make the fourth down, if you punt, either way this game's over. You're not reeling off 3 scores if you punt here. If you fail to convert, well, then it's over, and the Aggies have really good field position. That's the only difference. So if I'm the Lions, you definitely got to draw something up here. Did not like the look of that play right there. And I think that's, again, we were saying it earlier, that is just kind of the frustration of an offense that is functioning well throughout the season and then hits the point where they don't have any answers. And they don't have any answers right now. They start trying interesting things that are out of the box, and it just doesn't work.
And they are going to trot the punt unit back out on the field. So
they're still standing around the 40.
I see Gus Wright.
Yeah, they're not all the way out there yet. There's still some discussion. If
Collins is back here on the
he's on the training table, not getting looked at.
He's not hurt.
He's just sitting on the training table, so he does not appear to be going in. I don't know if you would have called a timeout to draw up a fake, but it does not feel like this is the decision you would go with at the moment. Like I said, either way, it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other. You punt this ball away, best case scenario, you get it back with 4.5 minutes left, down just 21.
Here is the snap to Gus Wright.
Maybe they're hoping for a muff, but there's not even anyone back to return it.
Wright gets the kickoff, and it's a line drive kick. It's going to bounce.
It's going to be a touchback.
In the end zone.
Great punt. And the special teams bounces have not gone their way. That's going to roll in the end zone. And that will give the Aggies plenty of room to work with. If you could have, I see maybe where if you could have pinned him at the 2, but I mean, honestly, the only way you're winning this game is scoring a touchdown, recovering an onside kick, scoring a touchdown, recovering an onside kick, scoring a touchdown.
If you pin them at the 2, it gives them more yard to work with to draw more time off the clock.
They burned the full 9.5 minutes on a 97-yard drive that ends with a kneel down at the 1. Instead, maybe if you had a chance to pin them deep, but now the Aggies have room to work. They got 9.5 minutes to kill. They're up 21, and they are. Well, they can't look past Texas College yet, but they go ahead and circle.
Here's Vrana. He keeps it himself. Another read option, and it gets him about 7. We're going to call it 6. Bring up 2nd and 4. And again, there's another example. The read option, it works. Vrana runs it beautifully.
But now the Aggies, they can obviously, you can't look past anybody in this conference. Texas College is going to bring their A game, I'm sure, against the Aggies, especially knowing what's at stake. But November 10th in Langston, Oklahoma, one would probably assume that a one-loss Aggies team is going to be taken on, again, assuming no upset by Texas College, an undefeated Langston team as far as conference records are at stake. So that'll be a thriller. Again, exact same scenario that we had here at Lumpkin Stadiums last year, only it was 2 undefeated teams.
And the play clock is going to run out. They let it run down a little too much.
Delay. Offense, number 3. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Best defensive play of the half.
If you're the Lions, for sure. That's going to bring up 2nd and 8 now for the Aggies.
But that'll be a dandy of a game with what we've seen with this crushing, just again, methodical. You almost feel the gears grinding on this OPSU offense when they get going. And it wasn't exactly working early, but just a masterpiece of a second half here.
And another good run by these Aggie running backs. Again, this one is Carlos Ransberg gets it up ahead. He's going to make it 3rd and short. And this is really where the Aggies offenses thrive today. Is these short down situations. It seems like they're I know the numbers won't say it, but it feels like they're 100% on these situations.
Yeah, well, we know they're not. The Lions did early on get 2 stops on 4th and 1. They stopped them twice on 4th and 1, actually towards the end of the half as well. They had one on the first drive and one towards the end of the half. So the Lions defense has made some stops throughout this game. None have been coming really in this second half.
Vrana in the shotgun. He's going to hand it off up ahead, gets enough for the 1st down, and the chains are going to move. And the Aggies can keep this clock running. Again, up 3 scores, 35-14, have just absolutely dominated this second half. 21 unanswered points for the Aggies as well.
And we talk about all the records that SAGU has shattered, single game records and stuff like that. I wonder what the record is for time of possession in a half. Because at the moment, the Aggies might have a legit shot at 27 minutes time of possession in the second half.
Vrana, 2 men in the backfield, sends one in motion. Snaps the ball. He's going to hand it off again to Ransburg. Ransburg runs into the offensive line, but keeps the legs moving and the pile moving. It keeps going and going past the first down marker. Incredible surge from the pile for the first down. They moved 7 yards past the first down marker.
Again, I think you'll go ahead and divide that run by the offensive linemen. They just keep them up. Everybody's pushing. Ransburg is just grinding, just feet moving the whole way. You got 7 Lions in on the play. That's a 12-yard run, and essentially every yard came after the initial contact. They had wrapped them up for, we've seen a lot of failed wrap-ups for a loss of 1, get turned into a gain of 3. That's a failed wrap-up for a gain of 3 into a gain of 12.
Another fresh set of downs here for the Aggies. Under 6.5 left to play. He's going to hand it off. Over on the sideline, hit hard, but brought down by Eric Berry. And this is a new running back for the Aggies, number 35, George Dominguez, getting his first carry of the day.
And that just shows how deep they are. They throw in their 4th back of the game. He picks up 7 yards like there's nothing but daylight. And Eric Berry comes in with a hard hit. We haven't seen enough of that, though. We haven't seen these DBs coming in and cleaning up as good as they need to. It's been, you know, just a lot of missed tackles, a lot of second opportunities. As yet again, the Aggies cross midfield.
Here's Vrana. He's going to hand it off again to Dominguez. Dominguez gets tripped up for no gain. Going to bring up 3rd and 3 for this Aggies offense. But again, that clock continues to run, and they are content.
Oh, completely content. I mean, as far as they're concerned, this drive is already a 100% success. They've moved the ball 30 yards. They'll have taken over 3 minutes off the clock. And, you know, I mean, Vrana hasn't run a read option in a while, so.
Keep an eye out here. Good call, Tim. Vrana. Dominguez in the backfield with him. And he's going to roll out back to pass, makes a man miss. And he is going to get the pass off, almost intercepted. Christian Cross had his hands on it, and then Marco Matthews could not catch the tip. That's going to bring up 4th down, but the clock does stop.
And looks like the Aggies will bring on the punt unit here. Thought they might go ahead and try to go for it and just keep possession of the ball, but the opportunity to pin the Lions deep is too much to pass up. And I guess it's probably a good decision there. I was calling for the read option from Vrana, but up 21, less than 5 minutes to play, knowing that you've done exactly what you need to do today and you've got a promising season ahead of you, why risk one more hit on your quarterback? Punt it away. Be content to salt this one away. Again, just enough to stress that we are over 25 minutes into the second half, and I literally think the Lions have less than 3 minutes field position. Hey, they finally get a bounce on special teams, though.
With about 4:40 left to play in the game, the Lions do get a special teams break. You're right. Trotting out to the field, Collins will remain in the game.
Media timeout.
And now if you're the Lions, I mean, this is kind of that, you know, it's not really a gut check moment. It's just kind of a person check moment. You know, game's over. You got one more week to go. You're still aiming for that winning record. You know, how do you respond the next 4:40 to kind of change the attitude going into next week? Got a long trip out to Arizona Christian to try to go notch your 6th win of the year, clinch that winning record. You want to kind of change, you know, I'm just not going to change the final narrative of this game, but change what's been happening so far. I mean, the idea of being shut out in the half, I don't think they've been shut out in any half of play this year. Even in the 9 points they scored against Evangel, they still spread that out over 2 halves. put together a good drive here and change the momentum going into next week to really close out your year.
Gets him off sides and then draws the flag and then tries to spike if it ends up hitting his own lineman in the back.
Offside. Defense. Contact, number 13. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Kind of threw it right at Evan Greathouse, his center. That's not the man you want to make mad. He's the one getting you the ball. That's going to be a free 5 yards for the Lions.
There's been a couple of bad snaps today, I'm just saying.
Payback. Here is Collins now. Fakes the handoff. He's back to pass. Now he's got to roll out to his left, running for his life. Collins just get out of bounds, CJ. He does for a loss of 1, maybe even 2.
Sam Northey having to come in. That's a mismatch up top. You watch Sam Northey trying to come in here and make the block. That hardly made a dent.
He got him on the ground, though.
That's a Volkswagen hitting a Hummer. I'm sorry. I mean, all credit to you, Sam. That's that takes some courage right there to go protect your quarterback. And it is a loss of 2 to bring up 2nd and 7.
Here is Collins now. Pistol formation, back to pass. Looking across the middle, he finds Sam Northey. Northey ducks his head, gets the first down. And it's going to move the chains, but a flag does come out. There's one in the secondary, one in the backfield, so we'll see what happens here.
The Aggies player is missing his hat, so sometimes that can be an indication of it, and the Lions, they're not even hesitating. They're walking back. Now, if there's a penalty in the secondary on the Aggies, they would be offsetting.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, defense number 7. Personal foul, face mask, offense number 61. Those penalties offset, replay, 2nd down.
And there you have it.
So the Northey pass will be erased, one of their more positive offensive plays of the half. You won't be able to see the face mask there, but yeah, there was an Aggie leaving the field with helmet in hand, but a defensive holding will make an offsetting situation.
There's going to be a timeout. They had too many on the field, and I was counting them, and then they didn't have enough. They dropped down to 10.
Timeout. Panhandle State.
It's interesting how much that happens when you have guys, you have 12 on the field, the others too many, and so 2 or 3 guys all go sprinting towards the sideline.
And you have 10. OPSU takes their last time out of the game to avoid either a penalty or playing with only 10 guys on the field, allowing SAGU to maybe get a big play with a man down.
I mean, that really, obviously, what is highlighted in this game has been the Aggies' rushing attack, how well they've gone, but that's not surprising. The Aggies putting up 35 points, controlling the clock, controlling the ground, isn't surprising. What has been surprising is just how good this Aggies defense has been. The dark side defense, as they call them. They're wearing all white today, but they're definitely pulling some Darth Vader out there and shutting down what C.J. Collins, one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NAIA in every category, and he still put up some stats today, some yards, threw a touchdown, but for the most part, he has been stymied.
Collins with a man in his face looking for Torres Hill, and gets knocked away, and he gets blasted, and that's going to draw a couple of flags.
Yeah, it's going to be a little too late hit on a defensive receiver, and that's going to give the Lions a first down. And now we got a little bit of
scramble on the sideline.
Tempers flaring a little bit, just trying to get everybody back to their sideline.
One talking for Oklahoma Panhandle was DeLeon Williams, who was the one flagged for the hit. It should be 20, if memory serves me right, but DeLeon Williams did look like the one who came over late and then was jawing a little bit with some SAGU players.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on a defenseless receiver, 15-yard penalty. It's the defense, number 7. First down.
They're going to call it on William Johnson, but DeLeon Williams reacted like it was him. We'll take a look here.
Yeah, and you guys just got to be careful about this. Obviously, you want to finish through and prevent. But that's pretty clearly coming in late. And that's clearly DeLeon Williams.
And he was the one jawing with some SAGU players after the play.
So
and he has been removed from the game for the time being.
William Johnson's going to get called, but I mean, that's number 20, DeLeon Williams, who lays the hit and is going to get the penalty eventually, I assume.
Quick screen to Jeremy Carr, and Carr spins off a man. Beautiful move down the sideline. Carr gets tripped up inside the 30. Best play so far here in the second half for the Lions.
By far, and that's just, I mean, again, just plants that foot, gets back. Ball is thrown a little bit too high, but at that point, Jeremy Carr had the room to work with. Nice spin move on the outside to get down to the 30-yard line. And again, it's all about, I mean, Jeremy Carr, his feet just, it's like he's wearing spelunker's cleats sometimes, where he's just able to stick his foot into the ground and just locks into place.
Collins back to throw, looking for a man. Tried to get Torres Hill to go deep downfield. Miscommunication, incomplete pass, brings up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, CJ has had to deal with more pressure than he's used to and better covers than he's seen all year. I mean, short of the Evangel game, obviously. And again, the Evangel game still feels like an anomaly since that came so early in the season. You were still trying to learn so many things. This has definitely been the toughest defense CJ has had to face all season outside of that. And he has had to kind of, you know, adjust where he played and has just been unable to pull off those big plays when necessary.
Here is Stephon Free on the outside, has a little room to run, and he's going to go out of bounds, but not before he picks up the first down.
That'll put Free over 100 for the day. Now, 86 of that came on one play, but on the stat sheet, Stephon Free, that might be SAGU's first 100-yard rusher of the season.
Looking at the totals, I think you'd be right. Here is Collins. Gonna hand it off again to Free. Free up the middle. Gets brought down inside the 5, down at the 3-yard line. And it's gonna be 1st and goal for the Lions for the first time this half. They get the ball down inside the 10-yard line. Collins back to pass. Looking for Dotson. Dotson gets held, and that's going to draw a flag. It'll be an automatic first down, but it'll probably net him about 1.5 yards as far as yardage goes.
If it's pass interference, then it'll get him all the way down inside the 1. Otherwise, it will be just about a, well, we're done. We're debating over 1/2 yard here.
I said about, Tim.
Pass interference, defense number 21. Ball will be placed at the 2-yard line, automatic first down.
So 1/2 yard, or 1 yard.
Yeah, the foul took place in the end zone. Should be at the 1. Now I'm going to bicker with the ref. That should be a 2-yard penalty, not a 1-yard penalty.
Here's Collins.
How dare you?
Going to pitch it over to Free. Free has some running room into the end zone for a touchdown. And that's going to be SAGU's first touchdown since his 86-yard run in that first half. So Stephon Free has been responsible for the last 2 SAGU touchdowns.
Yeah, so Free, he'll go over 100 and have 2 touchdowns on the day. Again, very surprising with how good of a rushing defense you're playing, that even in what looks to still be a losing effort, as the Lions will opt to go for 2 here. Not exactly sure why. Doesn't really change the algebra of the situation.
Collins back to pass. Pumps, looking for Carr. There is a flag that comes out. Carr does bring it in.
No signal after the catch, which tells me it usually is going to go against the Lions. Wait on the call.
Pass interference, offense number 1, 15-yard penalty, retry down.
So a 15-yard penalty would make for a significantly longer extra point at least. But
yeah, that's just Dotson hitting way too soon. You got to run those pick routes are technically always illegal, but if you can run them fast enough, you'll get away with them. That one Dotson just spent way too much time. So the 2-point conversion is erased. So now TH is going to come on for a 36-yard extra point. Try to cut the lead to 14. Doing him no favors.
Coach Smith giving the official an earful down there on that offensive pass interference call. was not a fan. Not a fan of that call.
Again, you can get away with those pick routes if you run them quickly. That one, Dotson spent probably a full second and a half, 2 seconds locked up with his man before the pass had really come out.
TH gets the kick up. The extra point is no good. Missed it wide left. And that's going to keep this at a 15-point game, 35-20. Now with 2.5 left and OPSU getting the ball. You got to think maybe that was the last time the Lions might touch the ball.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd imagine we probably see an onside kick attempt at least coming up here, but either way, that is probably, if they don't recover, you'd imagine that the Aggies can probably salt this game away. Lions do have 2 timeouts. Not sure how aggressive they would be in using them. So it is very possible. We just saw C.J. Collins, Jeremy Carr, Sam Northey, Torres Hill all leave the field for the last time here at Lumpkin Stadium, and they were able to get 6 off of it. Jeremy Carr was able to have a nice, every guy touched the ball. Every guy on offense touched the ball. C.J. had a couple of decent passes. Jeremy Carr had a nice catch.
Northey has always got his catches, yep.
Northey had his catch on that drive and ends with a touchdown, so definitely not the game you wanted to write, but at the very least at the moment, assuming they don't get the ball back, they will have at least left breaking a long touchdownless drought. Onside kick.
Got to go 10, but it is recovered by OPSU, and they will take over possession about the 44-yard line.
And that will officially do it. Had the Lions recovered, they would have had that brief glimmer of hope. But that onside recovery will officially put this one essentially in the books, all but the final score, which could still change. The Aggies will just come out and try to run the clock out. Again, we'll see if the Lions opt to even use their timeouts at this point to get the ball back. Yeah, at best case scenario, be getting it back with 1:30, down 2 scores.
Vrana gonna hand it off up the middle, stopped for no gain.
Belcher again, and like you said, I mean, you did a good job identifying just kind of how much of a mismatch there is between the offensive line and defensive lines.
Timeout by the Lions.
So the Lions will opt to try to get the ball back at least. I suppose no reason not to. You're down 15. You have shown in the past the ability to do stuff quicker than that. Score update.
Timeout. SAGU, that's their second of the half.
Pioneers lead the Rams by 8 with less than 2 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Looks like the Pioneers have the ball. And so the Pioneers do have the ball, so they are trying to run the clock out. They're up 8. And so it looks like for Texas Wesleyan, it might be yet another close but no cigar, as they won their very first game on the field this season. But as we mentioned a number of times last year, still looking for that premier win, that win to hang their hat on. Doesn't look like it's going to come today against Wayland Baptist. So 2nd and 9 now for the Aggies after the timeout.
2:18 left to play in this game. Vrana gonna take the snap from the pistol, hand it off again, upfield, bursting a big one, getting past the secondary and brought down out of bounds, just around the 10-yard line rather. And that is yet another running back finding room for this OPSU team.
You need a full iPhone set of contacts to keep up with how many running backs the Aggies are throwing out there. Ball will be down to the 14-yard line, and under 2 minutes to play, the Aggies can pretty much just run this up the middle and run the clock out.
1st and 10, hands it off again. Looking to get around the outside, brought down, this time after a short gain.
And again, you see the wins up front. Even like I said, a gain of 3 has felt like the biggest win the Lions defense has been able to get in this half.
Kyler Hudson now. That's the reason we couldn't find him. He's not a running back listed as a running back. He's a receiver that's running out of the backfield.
But it feels like when your biggest win is a gain of 3, that's not a recipe for success, because you know there's gains of 4, 5, 8, 15, 20 mixed in there. And now the Aggies will just be able to kneel down. Got a whistle in here as, the Aggies have too many men on the field.
You got 12. Yeah, 12.
As the ref said, you got 12, and they do. He's counting them up again to try to prove it to him. Aggies with a 12-man victory formation. It'll stop the clock, but the Aggies just got to kneel down twice now to hang on for a 15-point win. Well, one guy's left the field now.
If that one guy who left the field...
Substitution infraction. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It was 12 men on the field, but regardless, OPSU is going to come out in the victory formation and walk away with a 35-20 win to extend their conference record to 5-1. Have really played well this season, and like you said, they could be setting up a Sooner Athletic Conference Championship game in Langston.
Yep, they just got to take care of business in Tyler next Saturday against Texas College. That'll be, regardless of what Langston does today against Texas College, that will set up a huge, huge showdown the last week of the year in Langston, Oklahoma, for the first ever Sooner Athletic Conference champion. So that'll be a big one to kind of stay tuned to on the periphery. Meanwhile, the Lions will fall to 5-4 overall, and all eyes will be on next week against Arizona Christian as they try to get a win, get to 6 wins, and finish this year on a winning note with a winning record. That will do it.
And they will line up at the 50-yard line to shake hands, and that is it. The last and final home game for the Lions this season, and for some, the last home game of their SAGU career for seniors such as C.J. Collins and Jeremy Carr, Sam Northey, Marco Matthews, Dane Macklin, Xavier Pittman, just to name a few of these seniors that have been so impactful over the last 4 or however many years they've been here for this SAGU Lions team. As a first-year head coach in Ryan Smith, you really couldn't ask for a better group of seniors to inherit.
No, honestly, his big test, he's such an offensive-minded coach. His big test is going to come next year. So when he has to bring up a new batch of recruits, we were kind of joking earlier today of who are they going to play next year. Look at that final stat sheet right there, 35 points and 351 rushing yards. That might push SAGU to the very bottom of the NAIA ratings, depending on what that is. That is unheard of amounts of rushing yards. I said run, run, run. Well, they ran, I believe, is the technical term we're looking for. 50% third down conversion for the Aggies. And again, most of them were 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s. What a grinding, just like I said a couple of times, just expert level performance by these Aggies to pull off a huge win and keep their conference hopes alive. For the Lions, definitely one of their lesser offensive outings of the year. Just 290 total yards for a team that is used to skating around 450, 500 as they put up just 20 points. So it will end, again, for CJ and Jeremy and Sam Northey, Taurus Hill, it ends with a little bit of a bitter taste in your mouth. You don't get the win at home. But I think what's more important about these guys is they did enough here that this game isn't the end-all, be-all. It always felt like in the past, this was kind of your last chance to shine. No matter what happens from here on out, losing this home game, they got a lot more important memories here than what they did. They won the 2016 Victory Bowl. They've had multiple winning seasons. They had a chance to win a Sooner Athletic Conference or CSFL championship here. They had some amazing runs to where this game while it's not the way you want it to end, I don't think you're going to have to dwell on this for the rest of your life. You're just going to get to say, you know, we did a lot more there than just this one game. This one game doesn't end up defining them in the long run.
And it's not over yet. It's not over yet. You still have next week's game to get to 6-4. You want to be 6-4. You don't want to go into next season 5-5. We just talked about in pregame. We talked about the winning culture that this SAGU football program has brought upon itself the last 4 or 5, maybe 6 years. They win. They're winners. Yeah. And we said before 2012, they never had a winning season. They never had a 500 season. You don't want to fall to a 500 team again. No, that's heading the wrong direction. And
honestly, just as far as records go, even though you've turned a more of a winning team, you still haven't notched back-to-back winning seasons. So a win next week would still give them a shot at back-to-back winning seasons. Still a lot to play for as the Lions will head out to Arizona to try to get to winning record. And the Aggies, well, they could be setting up a date with destiny November 10th in Langston, Oklahoma for the first ever Sooner Athletic Conference football championship. So a lot of great football still to be played, but unfortunately, we won't be the ones bringing it to you as we have officially hit the end of our season here, and it's been a fun season. It's been a fun year, even a shorter year than usual. It's been a pretty fun season here at the SAGU Sports Network.
And it is not the last broadcast for the SAGU Sports Network. It's the last one for football. The volleyball team, who has been still tremendous this season, their next broadcast, November 2nd against MACU, 7 o'clock Central Time. Tune in. I can't advocate enough. I am a huge volleyball fan. This volleyball team is something special, and you're going to want to tune in and watch the SAGU Lady Lions volleyball team, again, coached by Coach Hank Moore, and it's just been incredible. Again, November 2nd, 7 o'clock Central Time. Tune in. MACU coming to Waxahachie to take on the SAGU Lady Lions in a very big volleyball matchup. Well, for today, wanted to give a huge thank you to our student-led crew who works hard every Saturday to bring you a fantastic broadcast here in Lumpkin Stadium. Again, huge thank you to our student-led crew. For my broadcast partner, Tim Roberts, I'm Adam Ferguson. Thank you again for watching the SAGU Sports Network.